Taiwan has vehemently criticized China's latest military exercises around the island, calling them an unreasonable provocation. These drills, conducted by China's Eastern Theater Command, involved coordinated operations between its Army, Navy, Air Force, and Rocket Force in the Taiwan Strait and surrounding areas. Beijing described these activities as a stern warning to proponents of Taiwan independence, reinforcing its ongoing stance that Taiwan, a self-governed island, is a breakaway province. It's quite a bold move for Taiwan to condemn these exercises so strongly. Considering the tension between the two, such rhetoric shows how sensitive this issue remains. The fact that China views Taiwan as a breakaway province adds layers of complexity to the situation. The latest military drills are part of an ongoing trend of increased Chinese military activity near Taiwan, with each round of exercises growing more frequent and intense. These drills tend to coincide with events that provoke Beijing's ire. For instance, in 2022, China launched large-scale exercises after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Similarly, drills in May 2023 followed the inauguration of Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te, whom Beijing sees as a dangerous separatist. The current set of operations, titled Joint Sword 2024B, seem to be a continuation of similar maneuvers conducted just 5 months earlier. It seems China is ramping up these drills as a reaction to political events it deems provocative. Each time a key political figure does something that irks Beijing, they respond with military might. The consistent timing shows this isn't a sporadic tactic, but rather part of a well-thought-out strategy. On Monday, Taiwan's defense ministry denounced the exercises, accusing China of undermining regional peace and stability. Taiwan's presidential office followed suit, urging China to cease its threats against Taiwan's democracy and freedom. In light of the situation, Taiwan's military has mobilized its forces, while President Lai reassured citizens that the government would steadfastly defend Taiwan's sovereignty, democracy, and security. Taiwan's response is pretty standard in this kind of situation. Condemn the actions, reassure the public, and bolster defenses. The question is whether this kind of diplomatic condemnation is enough to deter China from continuing such provocations in the future. The drills included the participation of the Chinese aircraft carrier Liaoning, which sailed into the southern Bashi Channel, a strategically important waterway separating Taiwan from the Philippines. According to reports from China's state-run media, the drills centered on coordination between vessels and aircraft, joint air control, and attacking maritime and land targets. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs reiterated that Taiwan independence is incompatible with peace and warned that separatist forces will be countered. Involving the Liaoning shows that China is not holding back when it comes to these exercises. The mention of both air and sea operations further emphasizes the scale of the drills. As for the stance on Taiwan independence, Beijing has remained unwavering on that issue for decades. These military maneuvers followed a speech by President Lai on Taiwan's National Day, where he emphasized that Taiwan is not subordinate to China and insisted Beijing has no right to claim representation over the island. Lai, a longtime advocate for Taiwan's sovereignty, has consistently rejected China's claims. Despite never having had control over Taiwan, the Chinese Communist Party remains committed to reunifying the island with mainland China, if necessary, by force. Meanwhile, many in Taiwan identify as Taiwanese and oppose the idea of being part of the People's Republic of China. President Lai's defiant rhetoric comes as no surprise. His firm stance on sovereignty mirrors the views of many in Taiwan. It's interesting to note the growing divergence in identity between Taiwan and mainland China over the years. China's increased military actions around Taiwan seem to be part of a broader strategy to normalize these drills, thereby keeping pressure on the island. Analysts believe Beijing is incrementally increasing its military presence without pushing far enough to trigger a major international backlash. China also appears to be expanding the geographical scope of its drills, thereby setting new precedents with each maneuver. It's a delicate balancing act that China is playing here. By carefully increasing pressure without crossing certain lines, they manage to avoid full-scale conflict, yet still maintain a dominant posture. It's clear they're trying to change the status quo step by step. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, announced that Monday's drills involved close-range approaches to Taiwan from multiple directions. The exercises focused on combat readiness patrols, blockades of key ports, and coordinated sea-air operations. Although deemed successful, these drills did not involve live missile launches, contrasting with more aggressive exercises seen in 2022. Military experts caution that China's military movements are growing more frequent and dangerous, leaving Taiwan with less reaction time in the event of actual conflict. The absence of live missile launches in these exercises is notable. It suggests that while China is escalating its military activities, it's still holding back somewhat, perhaps to avoid pushing things too far too quickly. However, the growing frequency of these actions is worrisome. During Monday's drills, Taiwan's defense ministry detected 125 Chinese aircraft, including fighter jets, helicopters, and drones, operating near Taiwan. Of these, 90 crossed the unofficial median line in the Taiwan Strait, a boundary that China had largely respected until recently. In addition to aerial assets, 7 Chinese warships and Coast Guard vessels were observed near the strait, raising concerns about China's gray zone tactics, aggressive moves that stop short of open war but aim to destabilize Taiwan. The sheer number of military assets involved is staggering. The fact that China is now crossing the median line regularly is a clear sign that they no longer consider it a meaningful boundary. Gray zone tactics have become an increasingly popular tool in conflicts like these, keeping tensions simmering without boiling over into full-scale war. Meanwhile, Taiwan's Coast Guard detained a Chinese national near the Kinmen Islands during the drills. The individual was intercepted on a raft, prompting suspicions of a possible link to China's broader military activities. The Taiwanese government has since heightened its alertness to potential unconventional threats as part of its response to the ongoing exercises. This incident with the raft is peculiar. While it could be coincidental, given the broader context, it's understandable that Taiwan is on high alert for any irregularities during such tense times. The broader implications of China's increasing military activities around Taiwan are profound. Chinese drills in the Western Pacific, particularly around Taiwan, are believed to cost billions of dollars. In 2023, China spent over $15 billion on naval and air operations, with a significant portion of these activities concentrated near Taiwan. For example, May 2023 drills included 91 warship sailings and more than 2,200 hours of operations, costing China an estimated $12.7 million. In the same time frame, Taiwan logged 111 Chinese military flights, costing China about $47.8 million.